Good afternoon, everyone. This is Anthony, Wall Street Trader. It's 12:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. This is not financial advice. In fact, it's only for educational purposes only and intended to be so. Twitter link below if you'd like to subscribe to the intraday updates that you're not going to get on these videos until the day after. Or if you want to stay up to date with my latest videos, you could also click subscribe if you want to hear about what's going on with the other cryptos I cover. So let's go straight into the graph allocation. Nothing has changed here because we're close to a day of reckoning in Bitcoin. I'm 40% sitting in cash because I'm not 100% sure where Bitcoin's going to go, but I feel confident in terms of its direction. But I have to play it a little safe here in the event we take a spill to the downside, and we'll talk about what that downside might look like. 60% of my allocation to the graph is in the graph over here on the right. And you'll see here are the entry points. Bam. No exit points at this point. Right now, I am on a wait and see approach. Before we get into the charts quickly, I want to just point out a quick update here. A few days ago, this past weekend, I think it was on Memorial Day, I gave everyone a special. The special was to talk about, or it was actually Sunday. It was a special to talk about my price predictions for the graph. And in that price prediction video, I went through why I like the graph and the main, my main investment thesis towards it. So one of those areas is around the usage and growth of the platform. Clearly a need in the environment. Nobody's got anything like this. If you look over here, these are the players that are using the graph to run lots of queries and create, data oracles that other people can buy or subscribe to. And they all use it through the graph. So if you take a look over here, these are the daily queries that have been happening all year long last year to the end of 2020. So sometime in November of last year, they kind of hit around 350 million queries per day. And as such, fine, great. Well, what's happened since? Let's take a look. So again, this graph has surpassed 20 billion queries in April, where it had only had 10 billion queries in at the end of last year. So we've almost doubled the total amount of queries that have occurred on the platform. This is the revised chart. It adds in the additional growth. So we started here. We went from around 350 all the way up to a daily query count of over 700 million. That's almost double, folks, in 4 months. Anyway, something you should be aware of. And if you don't believe me, go to thegraph.com. It's all over the place on that website. Anyway, let's move forward here. So again, we're going to go look at the graph, and we know that it's equal to Bitcoin multiplied by the strength of the graph to Bitcoin. So let's go into it. Here is the graph, the chart of the graph to US dollars. We're at $80.30 right now. Nothing, I can't read this. It kind of looks like the downward ascending pennant that we see in Bitcoin. But let's look over Bitcoin. Bitcoin rallying. We're at 38,000. I told everyone yesterday, I'm telling you, I think this thing's going to go up. And for many reasons. One of the technical reasons is this giant line that started back in March of 2020, a year and a quarter ago. And why is this significant? Because it's the long-term trend is more your friend. It's like a long-term friend. So if you think of a long-term trend as a long-term friend, they're going to stick around longer than these little short-term trends. So how I look at this is, let's take a look at the shorter-term view. This is the short-term trend. This is really not our friend. And, it might come down. I think if it does spill out of this thing on the downside, I think we hit 32. If it goes to the upside, I think we could get towards 50. And it's not going to happen overnight, but it will certainly be directional where we're headed. So I am fully anticipating this short-term pattern to resolve. And, the day of reckoning at this point is only like within the next day or two. Could happen sooner, could happen tonight. One of these lines are going to break. It's either going to break this line here, which is the line of support, or break to the upside, which is that resistance line on the top. And if it goes over the resistance line, don't get too excited because we have to keep it. It's got to stay up there a little while. in order for us to confirm the validity of that breakout, it doesn't just break as soon as it crosses that line, doesn't mean we're done. We got to stay up a little bit, and then we know for sure that we've gone into a reversal. So this consolidation period here is important. We need to see how this plays out. Now let's look over at the graph relative to Bitcoin pair, or GRT BTC. Drill in. All right. We kind of ended our head and shoulders thing up to here. Not bad. 23.21. I was hoping we get up to 24.25 up here and ultimately up this way. Now, what I'm expecting is us to stay over this green line, and I'm going to draw it further out. It seems like it's back in action. So let's see how it plays out. Ultimately, we want to, if we go below 2050, I'm not a fan of that. I would like to see us now bounce and go resolve to the upside. I think things will start playing out in this particular pair as we get more clarity on where Bitcoin is going. I think everyone is looking at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether you don't like fossil fuels burning to create it, or whatever your thought is on Bitcoin, you better start paying attention, because this is going to drive the rest of the market for the rest of our lives. So continue to keep your eye on this. 100%. This does impact your investment on any cryptocurrency that you're invested in. Bitcoin is the benchmark. Anyway, I'm out. Hope you guys are all well. Take care.